Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great Monday and a good week. So, let's get started. Hey Ross, how are you? What are some news items today? Who needs a website? This is gonna make me angry. I'm doing pretty good, except for I'm about to get angry. It's also dark here, but that's life. So there was a podcast that hosted some people from Google's search relation team. And they were asked the question of, do you still need a website in 2026? And they didn't just say yes, which kind of annoys me. So they talked about the advantages, but not the necessity of a website in 2026, which to me, as I say here, it kind of misses the point. Um, I mean, sure, technically, I guess a website doesn't need a, or a business doesn't need a website, but you do. Um, because if you don't, like, what is your marketing strategy? How are people going to find you? How are you going to build your reputation? Um, if you don't have a website, the amount of work that you'll need to do is even more. And granted, like a website alone isn't going to save you. Um, which is why you need website optimization and you need continual content and um, updates and etc. But like small medium businesses, the people who like if you go to an enterprise business, they're going to have a website. If you go to a large business, they're going to have a website. And yeah, like Roz exactly right. A business definitely needs a website. Some organizations might be able to get by using other people's websites. But it is a vulnerability if you depend, say, on Facebook. Um, and as a customer, knowing that you found like a legitimate site and it looks up to date and not scammy and weird, um, like it's so important for trust, the trust factor. So if you don't have that and you're relying, like you say, on Facebook and you're a business, which plenty of businesses do rely on Facebook as their primary marketing strategy, which is a terrible idea. Um, and I think that's kind of the thing. They don't really have a strategy. They're just thinking, well, everyone's on Facebook, so I'll just post all the information on Facebook, not really recognizing that's not how Facebook works. Um, People don't necessarily see your update. One time I called a business whose Google business profile said they were open, and they're like, "Well, we're closed for the month because we're taking, a trip with our family or whatever." And we posted that. It's like you posted it. Where do you like you're running a business here. Like you can't just post something and like assume that everybody in the world is going to see wherever that was, right? Like, anyway, businesses don't really know what they're doing. Um, and I get it, it's hard, it's time consuming to make sure that you have everything organized and you do have a strategy and you're, keeping your digital reputation in line. But like, that's the price of running a business. For a very small business, I see some people using something like Linktree in place of an actual website. What's my opinion on that? Um, it's better than nothing, right? Something is always better than nothing. Um, it's not. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. Long term, especially. And I don't like. Does Linktree, is it free? I guess is my question. Um, if Linktree is free, then okay, then I can see it being that stepping stone. Um, yeah, but his GitHub page is easy to use. But like a WordPress site, let's say you're paying like $20 annually for a domain and $10 a month for hosting ish. So you're looking at $140 annually to pay for a website. I think that's worth it, right? Crazy me. It's not that much. You then own it, and you can build from it. Linktree, it's a good stepping stone because it is like, now a Linktree is more like an actual digital business card, right? Versus the physical website um, of the business card. But I say it's worth the investment to have a website, and don't just yeah. So the Linktree, as I've said, right? That sounds like a good stepping stone because you're not relying on one platform. You've got all the platforms. Um, you can have, I assume you can have your phone number and stuff on there. It's been a while since I've looked at the Linktree, but um, it is a digital business card. And then when you are making some money, upgrading to, yeah, buy the domain first because then you get brand protection. And then after the domain, start building the website. Compared to all the, like, I spend too much on my tech stack. And I don't even spend that much. But those subscriptions, they start adding up, right? When you get Word and you get Canva and you get, what else do I have? Loom, my email. It's the tech stack does start adding up. But again, that is kind of the price of paying business. And I would prioritize the website over almost anything else in terms of tech stack. Granted, it depends on what industry you're in. My industry requires a little bit more because of the tools that I need. Other industries, you might be able to get away with free versions of things and not have to have as much tech. But the website would be the next start. So, and I don't even like one-page websites. I think if you have a website, you might as well put the 5 pages up there. well, 4 or 5, however many is applicable to you. Because again, you're just building that skeleton, and then you can keep adding content. So that's my thoughts on it. Yeah, you put a lot of time into your tech stack, which I appreciate. We all appreciate it. All right. So here's, on the other hand, a headline that I really enjoyed from this week. So 35 SEO veteran says, great SEO is good at GEO, but not everyone's been doing great SEO. And I do think that sums up the debate pretty well that we're having on how much does search engine optimization help you with generative engine optimization and vice versa, because they are different, they do function different, but AI is still getting its information from online, so there is overlap. But if you've not been doing current good SEO, then you're not doing GEO, right? And he does specify that great SEO is good GEO. I know. Yeah, it's not Geo or Neo Geo. It means generative engine optimization. That's my preferred acronym for it. You will see different things, but that's the one I usually use. So, good point, I think. And last item today, emails. I can't remember what this topic was about. Okay. Problem is communication. Too much communication. So a big question with email segmentation, email list that I get a lot from businesses is, how much too much are emails? I don't want to bother them, etc., etc. And it's fair, right? I mean, I don't like getting that many emails from businesses in a day. Quill, I'm looking at you. Quill is an office supply company here, and they send maybe 2 or 3 emails every day because that's how office supply businesses work. I think the other major chains do the same thing. They tend to send out a morning, lunchtime, and evening email to try and catch office workers as they need things throughout the day. Strategy, but very annoying. Yeah, multiple per day it's a lot. But yes, most businesses know that, okay, more than one a day is too much. But how much, right? How many per week or per month is good? And it's interesting. I have some statistics on it in the next slide. But in finance, where I came from, they were being told send a daily email to your prospects, not to your clients, to your prospects. Because you never know when that prospect is going to be ready to convert and is going to want to reach out. And so you want to be top of mind. And I always thought daily emails seemed a bit excessive. But that was the strategy. And you see it in many companies. Again, that's more for prospects. That's more for trying to convert people, not your already customers who do tend to get more targeted emails. Now, before we look at that, so unsubscribes, as we know, right, tied to that too many messages. 68% of people, the reason they unsubscribe is I hear from you too often. 53% irrelevant content. So that ties into the point that I always raise when I get asked this question is make sure your list is segmented. Right? Like different people do want to hear from you more often, but usually because of the content. So make sure you ask your list, like what kinds of things do you want to hear about? Do you want event reminders? Do you want notices about sales? Do you want the monthly newsletter? Make sure you have that conversation and you make it easy for people to change, the kinds of emails that they're getting. That goes a long way, in my opinion, to keeping your email list happy. I set this up for someone in MailChimp the other day, and I really don't like the way MailChimp does it because you click on the link, it takes you to a page that tells you it's sending you an email where you can click on a link and mess with your groups. And so I don't like that additional friction point. I don't think that's a good idea. I think they're just trying to minimize chances of fraud and unintentional subscription changes. But like, if someone clicks on the preference link and goes to a preference, and that's kind of what I'm reading. Like, I guess that's why they're doing it. They're ensuring that people only manage their own subscription. But if you're looking at an email and you hit the unsub button, well, I guess someone could forward you the email. I guess that would be the issue. If someone forwarded you the email and then you clicked on it, yeah, okay. Then it triggers the email for the original person and not for you. And okay, yeah. I don't like it, but I do understand it now. So thank you for talking through that with me, Rose. Oh. I still wish there were a better way to do it. I still wish there were less steps involved, fewer steps involved, but yeah, I kind of forget that people forward emails. And so this is just like a user thing. I can't think of the last time I forwarded an email to a person saying, "Oh, there's something really interesting here that I think you would like to read." I just don't do that. So I have kind of a blind spot there, but all right. Well, MailChimp's making the right call. So, good job. Glad we've come to that decision. So looking at now what is too much communication? That's the graph that I have. People forward entire chains completely untrimmed. Thanks, guys. That's exactly what I needed in my inbox. Yeah. Yeah. People in email. Right? So this is from Marketing Profs. So how much is too much? So the majority 3 to 4 per week, but already a quarter at 1 to 2 per week. So that's not many, right? So I would really strongly advise against having more than one a week. Hey, Steven, have a good night. Yeah, I would strongly advise against having more than one per week, unless there are specific like use cases. There's someone who has his email list, um, and then has the tag particularly for anytime there's a new blog post. So that can be several times a week, but that is a very particular email. That is a very particular thing people have signed up for. I don't care that much, but if you are the person who wants to read all those updates, it's obviously convenient to have that right in your email box. People like having the articles in their email. So, that is the 3% there. I don't mind frequent messages if the content is relevant. So. Yeah, but for most businesses, I'm really going to say keep it to one. Keep it to one, because some people think one is too many. So, how often do they want to get emailed then? Right, this is my question. Like, if one per week is too much, is there an amount that is not too much? I feel like those people are like my husband, and as soon as they get one, they're like, what is this spam? And unsub. So, I don't know. One a week does not seem bad at all. So, but that's the data. And people are getting more tired of email. Um, I definitely go on sprees where it's like, okay, if I haven't read an email from this newsletter in like a week, I'm just gonna, just gonna unsub. I'm clearly not reading it. Well, Steven has the right idea. I can go back to sleep too. Apologize. Alright, well, that's it for this week. I'll see you again next week. And, yeah, I think that's it. So, take care, everybody.